What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? How's everybody doing? What's going on? Prayers to Rob. Um, your father passed away on the 13th of December. Prayers out to you, Rob. I don't know if you are still here, but prayers in the chat for Rob Watson. Um, Sorry for your loss, man. I don't know if you are still here, but if you are, prayers to you, my good friend. Lovey Marie, Triple A, Robert Leith, Larry Ambrose. Give my mom a hug. I will do it. And my family. Okay. I don't know what happened with my mom. But I will give my mom a hug, of course. Lovey Marie, James Mitchell, Cynthia, The Pebble, Cheryl, IDK. How are we doing today? Of course I'm going to watch, Larry. Of course. Why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I watch? I'm still a Browns fan. Whether we're 14-1, 1-14, I watch. We're watching. The question is, Larry, are you watching? Or are we fickle fans? That's the question. I'm here. Shout out to Ohio State, ladies and gentlemen. Ohio State took care of business. Ryan Day is safe for 24 hours. Because that's the world we live in today. Let's hop right into it. Chiefs versus Browns. Last week, 21-7 defeat. We all know how we do here. 1-10. How do you feel about that game? 1? It is what it is. I wasn't worried because I knew we were going to lose anyways. 10, I am shocked at what happened last week. I thought we had a chance to win. I'm very upset with the game plan. I am upset with whoever you're mad at. Let me know. 1-10, how do you feel about last week? Go Bucks. I'm in a good mood. Let's see how long that lasts today. But I am in a good mood right now. There is nothing. That's a lie. That is a lie. I am a liar. But I'm in a good mood right now. Hit the likes when you come in. Hit the share. All that great stuff. How are we feeling? Buckeyes win. I am in a glorious mood this morning, even though my Browns stink. 21-7. How do you feel about the game last week when the Chiefs, who just can't lose, no matter what they try and do, they don't lose, beat the Browns 21-7? What up, John? How are you doing? Cavs did win as well, 24-4. Ohio State did win. If we trade Miles, let's get a number 1 for him. We'll talk about Miles a little later, Robert. We'll get to Myles Garrett a little bit later on in the show. How you doing, Cynthia? How are you? Merry Christmas to you. Well, I'm at a 2 for last week's game, and I want to tell you why. I didn't expect to win. I expected nothing last week. I didn't expect to win against the Chiefs, whether we're at home, whether we're on the road. I went to sleep, and I slept like a baby. Now, did I want to win the game? Yes, but I had little expectations going into that football game. If the Chiefs plane broke down and they missed the game, they would still get the win. Now, we had plenty of opportunities to win that football game. The defense hung in there. They stuck in the game for as long as possible, but our offense was anemic. They couldn't do anything. They couldn't get themselves out of their way. Jameis Winston maybe had his worst game as a Cleveland Brown. Jerome in the house Ford was pretty impressive. 7 carries for 84 yards and a touchdown. Very happy with Jerome Ford. And Jerry Jeudy, I'm going to tell you right now, I keep saying this. Half of the Browns fans owe him an apology. 11 catches, 108 yards, no touchdowns, unfortunately. But this dude is balling, out of control. He is amazing. Glad you made it through, Cynthia. So I'm at a 2. Nothing shocked me with what happened Sunday yesterday. It just lets you know we are one of the worst teams in the league, sitting at 3-11, heading to play the Cincinnati Bengals today against Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. So that's why I give it a 2. Not shocked at all of what happened last week. Now, before we move on, 1 o'clock, Chiefs Browns do not play, but the Bengals and the Browns do play. 1 o'clock on CBS. Tune in, have fun, watch party. I'm not going to get mad today. I promise. I'm not going to get mad because I don't expect much today, but we'll see what happens. Now, who is your little dog of the week for last week? Who's your little dog? Who did not show up? Who did not play as advertised? Who was the one player that you thought if the Browns were going to pull off the upset of the century, they had to ball out of control, but they were just out of control. They didn't do anything right. They were not a good player. Instead of the big dog, they were the little dog of the week. Let me know who it is. That's your little dog. Who's your little dog of the week? I think it's going to be a unanimous pick, by the way. I don't think there's going to be one person that's not going to pick this guy, unfortunately. And I love him. I love him to death. I love this man, but I think everybody's going to pick him. And I'm just going to show him. There's no point of having a reveal. It's Jameis Winston, okay? Has to be Winston. Everyone else hurt, falls on Winston's shoulders. That little dog sounds adorable. The little dog of the week, Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston is little dog of the week. Now, not to pour it on, but Jameis Winston, I believe, has played his last game as a Cleveland Brown. If you think otherwise, let me know. His last game as a Cleveland Brown, unless injuries happen, of course, I mean as the starting quarterback, 16 of 25, 146 yards, and 3 interceptions. You can say one wasn't his fault because it went off Nick Chubb's hands. I'll give you that. But still, he didn't have a good game. His interceptions are just atrocious. It's not like it's 50-50 balls or, it hit the defender's helmet and popped in the air. I mean, he is throwing it to the other team at some of the worst times in the game. And I like him as a person. I wish we all had Jameis Winston's in the locker room. But as a game last week, it was horrendous. And it gave the Browns, I tell you who's happy about it deep down inside. It's Cleveland. It gave them an excuse to put in DTR. It gave him an out to use DTR for the rest of the year because Jameis Winston was an abomination last week. He was the little dog of the week, unanimous. Some people may wanted to pick Nick Chubb for his fumble, his turnover, and then the dropped interception. If they wanted to go that route, maybe I would have listened to that argument. But I think a landslide had to go to Jameis famous Winston. The only thing that upset me about the KC game is Chubb breaking his foot. Facts, little ankle biters. It's a shame he loves Cleveland and the fans. He's really a nice guy, but those interceptions, they're killers. He has 13 touchdowns and 12 interceptions on the year. That's not good. That means he throws for every touchdowns he throws an interception to match it. So that's not good for Jameis Winston, but he is the little dog of the week. 1 o'clock CBS, you should hear me now, was having mic issues. Of course, you should hear me now. 1 o'clock CBS, I was just saying he is little dog of the week in summary, but you should hear me now, was having a little mic issue. 1 o'clock CBS, Browns, Bengals, 1 p.m. Make sure you're here. Now, what happens if DTR plays crappy? We have to find 3 QBs in the offseason. Not 3, 2. We have one that's injured. Don't forget about him. I know you want to forget about him, but he's still here. You got to find 2. We got to find 2, not 3. 1 still under contract. I'm not even going to say his name. I don't want to upset you. I don't want to upset you. Okay. This is going to be quick. What grade do you give Winston versus the Kansas City Chiefs? The last time we're going to grade him this year, maybe for his career. What grade do you give Jameis? You can grade him on a curve if you want to. A, B, C, D, or F. We skip the E for effort. What do you give him? A, B, C, D, or F? The E for effort is skipped. Yeah, Watson won't be ready week 1, but he'll still be on the roster. So they're going to have to find 2 quarterbacks if DTR is no longer here. F. What up, George? George just been silent in the weeds. He perked up. Grade? F. 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 C minus? D. A. I want Zach to be my high school teacher. Man, if I had Zach as a teacher, I would have had a 4.0. I would have been top of the class. We got an A from Zach. Sam says D. Has there been any talk with a new head coach? Has there been any talk with a new head coach? No. B for the year, C minus for the game. So we have a 2 C minuses. No, that was Robert. Robert changed his C minus. No, he put C minus twice. Okay. C minus, D, F, A, D. I'm going to go with D minus last week. I'm not going to give an F just because I like Jameis. That's it. I'm going to give it D minus just because I like Jameis. 3 interceptions and no touchdowns is diabolical. You can't do it. I cannot make any excuse for 3 interceptions and 0 touchdowns. That is diabolical. And he only threw the ball 25 times. It's not like he threw it 65 times. So I can't go any higher than a D minus. I'm only not giving him an F because I like him as a human being. Now you can get on me. You can say I'm being too nice. Give him an F. If it was anybody else, you would. And you're probably right, I would. You're right, I would. If I didn't like him as a human, I'd give him an F. But I like him. So D minus, and I don't even have to elaborate. A bad game for Jameis Winston. Just don't understand how we have the exact same problem every year at the same position. The true definition of insanity. His picks seem to always come at the worst possible time. Anytime we have the ball, final drive of the game for the win, Winston drives it all the way down the field and throws a pick in the end zone. It's not even the end zone picks, AAA. It's picks that ends drives. He likes to throw too. So it's very annoying, in my humble opinion, Jameis Winston. Jaden, why are you sad? How are you doing? Why are you sad? I have an idea, but I want you to tell me. How are you doing, Jaden? Too many guys injured to blame the coach or losses, and the Watson deal wasn't his. Okay, he is a great quarterback. You know, Zach is just full of joy. I like Zach. I love his positive attitude. You need more positive people in life like Zach. There's a lot of Grinches walking around. Zach walks with that positive attitude. I like it. How you doing, Barb? Blessings to you and your family. I hope you have a great Christmas and a happy New Year. Let's move along, ladies and gentlemen. One of our Patreon's question of the day over on Patreon. Link in the description below. The giveaway is in a couple of weeks. If you want to join, click the link. Is this DTR's last chance with the Cleveland Browns? We all know DTR starts today. Bengals, Browns. His first start of the year. If I am correct, if I'm not, let me know. But his first start of the year. Full week of preparation with the first team. Full week of work for DTR. Do you believe this is his last chance, his last dance, his last chance to make that moolah with the Cleveland Browns? Let me know. Or do you believe, maybe, just maybe, he will get another shot down the line? These 3 games will just help build his clout with the Browns for next season, and he will get the shot. Or is this it? Let me know in the chat. Without hinting at any, you can't deal with this pain. 10-5. 10-5 is not sad, bro. You know what's sad? 3-11. That's sad. New coach should be at the top of the list. For who? Panthers? Giants? The Giants, I agree. Yes. The Browns? No. Stop. No. Steelers are just not that good. They will lose the first game in the playoffs. He plays horrible today. I hate to say. Hey, Rob. We had the prayers in the chat for you, man. Glad to see you. Glad to see you, man. Prayers to you. Condolences to your family, to your father. May he rest in heaven. Glad you're here chilling out with us. Yes, last chance. We've seen enough of DTR. He isn't him. Any other game, I would say yes, but rest of our QBs have played so crappy, it moves DTR up a notch. He's too injury prone. We need a drop back passer and an O-line. I agree with the injury prone. I don't want a drop back passer. You need to be able to do both in this era of the NFL. And I will stand on this hill, moment of Zed, until I am in the grave. The times of having a non-mobile drop back passer is over. It is over and it's done. You got to be able to do both nowadays. Look at Josh Allen. Look at Jalen Hurts. Look at Lamar Jackson. Look at Patrick Mahomes. Look at Justin Herbert. I am naming the elite of the elite. They all can move. They all can get out of the pocket. I don't want a stationary target. You got to do both. But that's just my liking. Some people may like a stationary target that the defense doesn't have to worry about, that they can just send the house and then drink some eggnog. I hate to say it, but 3-11 I know might not be the best record for us, but we're not 0-16. Facts. That is facts. That is facts. You're right. Drop back passers have won more Super Bowls because that's the way the NFL was run from 1900s. Yes, the 1900s. You're right. There is statistical facts that drop back quarterbacks have more Super Bowls because that was the olden days. But in today's game, where the defense are actually athletic and they can move and they are faster than ever before, your quarterback has to be able to move as well. This isn't the 1923s anymore. The 1950s, the 60s, the 70s. Linebackers are the speed of receivers sometimes. You got to be able to move now. Now, if this was the 1990s, I would agree with you. Give me a drop back passer. You got to be mobile. Or if you're not, you better be Tom Brady or Peyton Manning. And there ain't none of those out there anymore. They're not. It's just not going to happen. Thanks for sticking it out. I'm 58 and know nothing about heartbreak. As a Browns fan, get used to it, Corey. I love the Browns, but they are losers. Wow, Tina. Wow. That was It was kind of harsh. The losers. How you doing, Tina? I don't think the E-Mobile QB is finished in the NFL, but he better be the next Peyton. Yeah, you got to be Peyton or Brady. That is your only chance. You better process fast and be accurate and elite. And I don't see anybody like that in the NFL right now. I don't see it. I don't see it. I didn't say it had to be a scrambler moment, Zed. I said they got to be able to move. That's the difference. That's all I said. They got to be able to move. I didn't say they have to be a scrambling QB. I said move. That's all. I want you to be able to move. Like Mahomes. Get out of the pocket. Be mobile. I don't want to drop back. That's all I'm saying. Stuck in the mud, concrete quarterback. That is all. That's all I'm saying. You don't have to be Michael Vick. You don't have to be Lamar. You just got to be able to move. That's all. What up, Jeanette? I'm thinking this is DTR's last chance, even though I don't think he's had a consistent enough chance to do anything positive. Very good point, Rob. I think it's DTR's last chance. Now, I didn't know, which just baffles me, that he's only got one touchdown pass in his career and like 8 interceptions so far, which is horrendous. But I still feel like he hasn't got a fair shot. Is that weird of me to think that way? I don't know. But I feel like he still hasn't got a fair shot to be the guy. And even these last 3 games may not be a fair shot, but life is not fair sometimes. And I think this is his last chance to prove himself. And maybe 3 games is not a good sample size, but the way the position the Browns are in right now, they don't have time. Time is ticking, especially in the AFC with those quarterbacks. The Josh Allens, the Justin Herberts, the Joe Burrows, the Lamar Jacksons. You could throw Trevor Lawrence in there. You have quarterbacks that are just getting to that elite level. You ain't got time to wait at this point, unfortunately. They have to be mobile because nowadays defensive linemen are not only big but fast. Facts. These linemen are fast. So you have to be able to get out of the pocket. Look at Baker Mayfield. Everybody thinks I hate Baker Mayfield. I don't. He can move. He can move a little bit. That's all I'm saying. You got to be able to move. You can't be a Kirk Cousins who cannot move. A stationary target. You can't do it. Or Myles Garrett will eat you alive. Literally. With steak sauce and ketchup. Will eat you alive. I do think DTR has talent, but if we were to play a few games in a row, he may be able to develop some consistency. Josh Allen don't look great until he has some consistency. Now look at him. Josh Allen, man. This dude. He has now become just out of this world. I just can't see DTR as a starting QB1. You know, we'll see. I would love for DTR to come out here and show everybody I am the man so we could focus on other things. Do I believe it would happen right now? No. But I could be wrong. Maybe they have some scheme drawn up for DTR that's going to shock us. And he's just going to blow us away today. I don't see that happening. So I think this is his last chance with the Browns. I don't think he'll be QB1 next year, but it doesn't matter what I think. It matters what Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry thinks. They're the ones that are evaluating DTR this Sunday. Corey said Baker in a positive way. Write it down. Write it down. Put it in a book. Highlight it. 1 o'clock. Browns, Bengals. 1 o'clock. CBS. Let me know how you feel about this game. Are you excited? Are you ready? Or are you just like, you know what? I'm just going to watch it with no expectations. Here we go. You were doing good, Robert, until that one. You would trade all 3 QBs for Baker. I wouldn't. I don't want his fan base back here. I can't take it anymore. I can't take it. Leave him where he's at. Because, listen, they got mad at him for doing commercials. Do we forget the days? Do we forget them? Why is he on so much commercials? I can't take it. Why? He needs to be reading his playbook. Remember those days? I do. He just looks small. Hey, man. How do you feel about Myles Garrett, ladies and gentlemen, putting the Browns on notice? If you don't know what I'm talking about, then just Google it. There's a video. There is everything. Myles Garrett, in a nutshell, he basically said, I ain't here for no rebuild. I ain't here for it. I did too, Robert. I liked his commercials. I'm not going to lie. They're pretty good. He said, I'm not here for a rebuild. At the end of the season, they need to show what is the plan to win. I want to stay in Cleveland. I really do. I love it here. But if they don't have a plan to win, hey, then maybe I got to have a plan. And you know what? I like it. I like it. Listen, he's the best player on our defense. He gets the most attention. Pro Football Focus shows some chart about double teams. He was far above everybody, every defensive lineman in the NFL. Pass rush rate through the roofs. This dude is on another level. Sometimes numbers don't show how effective you are on the field. This dude is not reffed like anybody else. He gets chopped in the throat and held every play. They still can't find somebody else to compliment him, to take pressure off him. He plays injured. He's injured right now, and he's still playing. So you can't ignore him, or you can't blame him for going, hey, are we going to put together a winning team? Because I'm not here for another 30 or 40 years to rebuild. I like it. Put them on notice and let them know. Don't be sneaky and post something on Instagram where you unfollow the Browns. I'm unfollowing the team because I'm not happy. I hate when players do that. Just be direct. This is what I'm looking for. Can you do it or can you not? I'm going to unfollow. Oh, my goodness. I hate that crap when players do that. Just let me know how you feel. Goodness. All right. You don't blame Myles. F. I'm glad Myles Garrett came out. You don't blame him. Myles Garrett knows who the door is. All right. Chief Examiner doesn't like Myles Garrett. Happy holidays. Myles has to be patient till next year. It's too late to do anything this year. I will ask him, what do you have to do, Myles? See what he thinks we need. Yeah, he did say at the end of the year the exit interview. So he knows this year is a wash. It's a wash. Corey F. Wow. Wow, Plasma. That's a very nice. That's very nice. How are you doing this morning, Plasma? I told you I'm in a good mood today. My Buckeyes won. I am in a great mood. Great. It's win now for the Browns. I'm talking consistently making the playoffs, get to a Super Bowl. I think every team wants to do that. I think every team would want to consistently make the playoffs consistently. You should want to. I'm a Browns fan, not a player fan. I'm a Browns fan too. I'm usually not a Players fan, except Nick Chubb. That is the only player. But I agree with Myles Garrett. If somebody says, well, you just said, Chief, about Myles Garrett, then you haven't watched the Browns or you haven't watched Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett is getting into the atmosphere of a Joe Thomas. Joe Thomas was the backbone of this franchise. Left tackle for this franchise through teams that were absolutely hot garbage on the offense side of the ball. Myles Garrett's on the defense side of the ball. He's got to the playoffs twice, but he's been a part of some crappy teams where he's just dominating. Defensive player of the year. Nothing to show for it. So if he's frustrated, I don't blame him for being frustrated. We get tired of losing, and we're not on the field. We're not getting beat up. We don't have hurt knees, feet, arms, shoulders, and we get mad. We get angry. So could you imagine losing year after year, and you're arguably the best defensive player in the NFL? Obviously the best defensive player on your team. Of course you're going to show frustration. You're getting older. Your body's getting beat up. So I don't blame him for this at all. Not 1%. Because as fans, we lose our mind when our team sucks. So imagine as a player, your team sucks, and you only can do so much about it. He can't throw the ball and catch it himself and then play defense. So I agree with him. But that's just me. Yeah. So I loved it. Now, what is Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski going to do to upgrade this team? To retool instead of rebuild. That's the key. You can retool without rebuilding a football team. You don't have to rebuild. You can retool because they have good pieces on this football team. They have to figure out how to win, put it together. They just did it last year. They got to the playoffs last year. And this year was an abomination. There was somebody in the chat that said the Browns will win like 4 games this year in August. And I laughed at them. I forget who it was. And they were right. I forget who it was. They were right. So you never know what can happen from year to year. We went to the playoffs and I said, hello, we have arrived. Now we build on from this. And we went backwards. So you never know what year is going to happen when you start that week 1. New O-line, number 1. You think QB looks bleak to upgrade? If we have a crappy season next year, then I would start interviewing head coaches like Kevin. But most great coaches find a way to have a winning season. I do agree. I mean, listen, as much as I am an advocate for everybody on the Browns usually, because I'm not a negative Nancy, I'm more like a positive Pete, but I do agree. Listen, I think Kevin knows this too. If you have another 3-11 year, if we're at the same point next year, I think he knows he's gone. I think he knows this. I think he knows the writing's on the wall. Yeah, shit about everybody. Right, just shit about everybody. Yeah. New QB2, new running back 3. Happy holidays, Janine. Happy holidays. Hopefully everything is going for you. Hopefully everybody has a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, all that great stuff. You know, it's a great time of the year. I am just excited, man. Listen, my Buckeyes won. They beat down Tennessee. Did I think that was going to happen? I thought they could win. I wasn't very confident. I thought they could win. I didn't see that happening. Puts me in a great mood. I love it when my team does something I don't expect. Makes me happy inside. Full of glee. All right. 1 o'clock watch party. CBS. Make sure you're here. DTR. The DTR show versus Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow. Who's Joe Burrow? I don't know. That's his cousin? Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and that high-flying Bengals offense. Help us all. All right. Second Patreon question of the day. And it's a very good question, I believe. I think I know the answer, but I hope my answer is wrong. Will Dorian Thompson-Robinson, better known as DTR, throw more touchdowns than interceptions this game? Will he do it? Can he throw more touchdowns than interceptions this game? The data says no. The data says that's impossible to happen if we go by the analytics and the numbers. But will he throw more touchdowns than interceptions today when he takes on the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati? When they roll up there, Battle of Ohio, Battle of the Trenches, Burrow versus Robinson. Chase versus Judy. Most people would say new QB is number one, but without an O-line to protect them, a new QB is useless. Hey, they say the O-line and the defensive line is the most important things in the NFL. Merry Christmas to everyone. If I forget later, who wins the Rose Bowl? If you ask me now, and if I had to bet and put my feet to the fire right now, I'd say Oregon. I'd say Oregon. As much as that hurts me to say it, one game is not going to sway my answer. If I had to say it, that sounds like me. Boo, how could you not pick Ohio State? I need to see more. No. Burrow, 3 TD passes. DTR, 3 interceptions. Rob, oh my goodness. I hope not. But the Bengals secondary isn't very good this year. Corey Green from the West Coast. Cool Jedi. Greetings, my bro. Greetings, my brother. How are you doing? I think... No. Unfortunately, I don't think he throws more touchdowns and interceptions today. He has been interception prone, unfortunately. He needs to learn how to put a little more touch on his football. He throws heaters. But I do think they are going to incorporate using his legs a little more today. Unlike Jameis Winston, he is very mobile. Now, I don't care that he's very mobile. I don't want a quarterback who just can run. Don't get it misconstrued. I just want you to be able to use your legs. You got to be able to throw the football. So I don't think he'll throw more touchdowns and interceptions. Either it'll be even or the interceptions will be more than touchdowns. But I would love it if they could use the run game more today. Use some Jerome Ford. Use some read option. Give him some quick reads, ladies and gentlemen. Let's stop all this. Let's 5 reads. Let's dissect. No. Give him a couple reads. Get it out your hands. Use your legs. Get down. Next play. Let's make it easy for DTR right now. Every quarterback is not the same. Every quarterback doesn't have the same experience in the NFL. Buckeyes, let's go. Buckeyes in the building yesterday. Best game all year they played. Baffled me. And what baffling is the game plan against the team up north. But I digress. Top 10 pick. Choose elite talent. Every mock draft every year mocks Browns OL. Buckeyes look pretty good. They did. Let's build our line this year and go. Robert, the problem with that is the Browns are going to suck again to try and get Arch Manning, I'm sorry. No. Listen. We can't have it both ways, fans. You can't want the Browns to be good next year and want Arch Manning. That's not possible. You got to pick one. So, you'll want the Browns to go 1-16 so they can get Mr. Manning. Because Mr. Manning is going to be a number 1 overall pick. He's that good. You can't have it both ways. You can't say, I want to be good next year, and I want Arch Manning. How? Unless you somehow luck up and trade to get somebody else's pick, and they suck, and they get the first round. And it's an unprotected pick. That's the only way. We can't suck again next year and then be mad, but we want Mr. Manning. We got to pick a battle. We got to pick our battles, ladies and gentlemen. Arch Manning is off the board, off our wish list if we want to win games next year. If we don't want to win games next year, sure, let's lose. Planning on one player a year and half away is challenging to say at least. Arch Manning could be he will be the first pick. He is going, listen, this dude. Trade up. The problem with that is you have to hope whoever has that first pick doesn't need a quarterback. Because if they need a quarterback, they're taking Arch Manning. They're not going to take the trade. That's a lot to hope for. Now, listen, I would love to have Arch Manning. I ain't going to lie. I'd love it. But yes, I go with a big fat no. All right. Before we break down this game, you guys all know right now. CBS is the channel. The game is the Bengals. We must just enjoy this game together. I have no expectations today. New quarterback against Joe Burrow. Let's see what happens. Who wins today's game? Browns, Bengals. Let me know in the chat. Who is your big dog of the week? Is anybody picking the Browns? Is anybody picking the Browns? Kyle McCord is our future. If he is our future, then we will never win anything again. We can forget doing anything as Browns. We might as well just throw in the towel. Rocky, throw in the towel. If Kyle McCord is our future, hey, I am already just knowing I'm going to my grave without the Browns ever winning anything. I would just accept it. I wouldn't even get mad anymore if he was my quarterback. But hey, man, we're here to lose. It is what it is. Is Arch Manning worth losing Miles? Wow. That's tough. If I put on my non-biased hat, if I was guaranteed to get Mr. Manning, and he was to have to play in Cleveland, and he couldn't pull an Eli, that's tough. That's a tough one. We may not be tanking, but we are sinking. I'd say yes. Unfortunately, yes. Because you have to get the quarterback position right. I'd say yes. I'd hate to say yes because I love Myles Garrett. But we can't get the quarterback position right. And I think he's going to be that good. But that's tough. That's tough. Would I go that route? No. Because I believe you have to treat your players right in the NFL, and Myles needs to retire a Brown. So you better find a different route, dagnabbit. I wouldn't go that route. But that's a darn good question. I hate to say that answer. If we didn't have Myles, we'd be losing by twice as much. We would. I agree. This is a Family Feud game, so I'm going to hear it from the cousins today. They stole Who Dat from the Saints. We're unoriginal for Who Dey. 35-10 Cleveland. No, 35-10 Cincy, says Rob. Lovey Marie. I think of Drew Aller. Why does everybody like Drew Aller? I don't see it. What do y'all see in this dude? I have watched him every time he's played Ohio State. I watched him yesterday. What do y'all see in Drew Aller? I would rather pet a porcupine. What is it? I don't understand. I watched this young man, and maybe as a project, maybe as a 4-year project, maybe with the teacher's notes. I don't understand it. I don't. Or maybe because he plays Ohio State, and Ohio State makes people look bad. Is that what it is? I would have Myles in the war room during the draft. The first player ever in the war room. I think it's a close game. It's always a good game with this rival. Hometown kid from Ohio comes home and brings victory. It's just a good storyline. Is that why they like him? Because he's from Ohio? Is that what it is? He's an Ohio kid? Drew Aller rumored to not enter. I think the love of him is born out of scaredy. Not to enter what? The draft? So I've seen somebody pick Cincinnati, and that's it. Nobody else has a prediction. Nobody else knows who's going to win the game. Or you don't want to say it because you want to pick Cincinnati. Usually predictions are flying out of here for the Browns. Now nobody has a prediction. Why is that? Because all you think the Bengals are going to win and you don't want to say it? That's mighty interesting to me. Only Rob has the guts to say the Bengals. I like it. Trading Myles Garrett is like donating your heart for a transplant while you're still healthy. Stay by Myles, man. I love it. I love it. Brownies all day. Bungles by 6. Cincy. Browns will get 2 safeties. Cincy. My heart says Browns. Bengals by 3 TDs. Okay. Now the predictions are coming out. I had to call you out a little bit. Any big dogs? How you doing, Crew Breeze? Any big dogs of the game? Anybody picking the Browns? Cynthia said the Hearts and Lovey Marie. Still going with the Browns. So the Browns are going to have 4 at least. Oh. Yeah, the Browns are losing. Triple A. He is Mr. Positivity. If any of you watch WWE, Triple A is Big E. Okay? He is Big E when it comes to the Cleveland Browns. This man just said Cincinnati 45, Cleveland 3. It is over, ladies and gentlemen. He is the Big E of the Cleveland Brown fan base. He embraces everything, and he is always Mr. Positivity. The Browns have carried him to the dark side. He is now Xavier and Kofi Kingston. It is over. Gmail 2817 Bengals. Just a team of little dogs today. Big dog built for it tough. Okay. Built for it tough. What up, chat? Congratulations, Corey, on your Buckeyes win. Thank you very much, man.
Dog check!
I think Garrett deserves a team that doesn't rely on him to win the game. Wow, Triple A throwing out those pancakes. Triple A. Well, my big dog of the game, ladies and gentlemen, to pull off this win, to pull off this upset, it has to be the man we've been talking about today, Myles Garrett. It has to be. I don't believe our offense is going to be able to pick up the pace against the Bengals. I do agree with whoever said Mike, my guy Mike Bowling. I do agree. If you pick an offensive big dog of the game, it has to be Jerome Ford. I think you have to get the running game going. I think you got to set the tempo with the run to open up the pass, to give DTR some time, get them in short and third down situations, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3, things like that. Play ball control. If you have a big dog of the game, I believe it has to be Jerome Ford. But I believe for the Browns to have a chance to win this football game at Cincinnati, the Bengals' playoff lives are today. If they lose, they are out. They are playing like this is it. So to win this football game, I believe Myles Garrett has to take over. Whether it's being quadruple teamed, whether it's getting a strip sack, he loves sacking Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow is the most sacked quarterback by Myles Garrett. I don't have a stat. It's just me watching games. I just want to say he is, but I could be wrong. So for the Browns to pull off the upset of the day, Myles Garrett's going to have to dominate the game, unfortunately. And it's sad that we say this. I also agree with that. What Mike said, they had to play against Kansas City. But unfortunately, I think the Bengals' offense is better than Kansas City's offense. Kansas City's offense has just been getting by. They've been winning games by 1 possession. The Bengals' offense is high-flying, putting points on the board, but their defense has been the reason why they're losing football games. So to think the Browns can hold this offense down for 4 quarters is not being fair to the defense. But I do agree with Mike. They need to play like they did last week. The offense needs to help. So Myles Garrett is my big dog of the game. Now, for my prediction, who I think is going to win the game. I'm not even going to give no, suspense because there's no suspense. The Bengals are winning this football game. They're going to win. I don't see how the Browns win this game. Their offense has been anemic. They had a couple of good weeks with Jameis Winston, but I think the Bengals win 30-17. I'm giving the offense 17 points, so you should give me a round of applause for that. I'm giving the offense 17 points because the Bengals defense is just that bad at times. But I think Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Chase Brown, I think it gets too overwhelming towards around the third quarter when the defense is just like, we've been on the field forever. When the Browns offense starts to sputter like they usually do, I think they lose 30-17. I think the Bengals win. It sends the Browns to 3-12, meltdown city. And we just talk about things that, how's life going during the watch party by time the end of the third quarter comes along. But that's going to be it for me today. I will see you here shortly if you're here for the watch party. If not, have a good Merry Christmas. Have a good holiday. I want to try to be as entertaining as I can. When you have a 3-11 team, some people have checked out. They said, you know what? I am done with Cleveland. I am here until the wheels fall off. I am a fan until the day I am no longer here. But appreciate everybody. Until next time, you know the drill. It's all love. Peace.